Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Bonsoir, no, bonjour, bonjour, bonjour à tous, bonjour. Good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. So, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, you guys. Good morning, you guys. Good morning. So, you guys, my name is Retha-Billy Ledisa. I'm your host, Retha-Billy Lelisa-AKA Retha-Billy. And I cannot be any happier than this to be having a chance to talk and address some of the issues under our podcast that is called Truth and Nothing But the Truth with Retha-Billy. So you can get a hold of us on YouTube. We will share the links as we progress. We can also subscribe to our podcast, guys, which is available on Podbean, and subscribe there so that you can get updates of our episodes as they come on. So today, you guys, we will be addressing some of the issues here, and I would like us to be on point because I don't know if the time we have will be enough to cover all that we would have prepared for you guys, you guys, you guys, you guys. So today, you guys, as you can see, it's very early in the morning. It is just after. Actually, it's about 4:30 a.m. in Dublin time. So um, we're going to be doing this together with you. It's Christmas. It's a Christmas gift, and I'm using this candle also to pray, guys. I know some of you will be very judgmental. Oh, some of our people are very judgmental. We'll talk about such people, and we're going to talk about them scientifically and religiously. We're going to use two lenses to look at them today. But just beside the point. That's just besides the point, anyways. So you guys, today I'm going to address some of the issues concerning children, and we're going to talk about family as well. Not family as such, but we're going to be talking about marriage, and we want to answer a big question. Does marriage still persist in a modern society? Does marriage still matter in a modern society that we're living in? So that's some of the questions that we want to ask, and we want to debate and tackle this. But also we will be talking about the implications of divorce on children, and taking a perspective of the Irish laws and everything that is in Ireland. So this is what we'll be discussing. And time allowing us, then we will always, as a culture, will be completing this show by sharing some of the information regarding the work we're doing in Ireland for recruitment, whether recruitment for employment or recruitment for education. But at the moment, we're still focusing on recruitment for education because we're still finalizing certain things, especially regarding the launch of our recruitment agency or our recruitment company called Goodly Heritage Recruitment Agency, or Goodly Heritage Recruitment Company, wherever you want to use. In some countries, the reason why we chose to use agency or companies, because in Ireland you can use the word agency freely, but in some country, like in Lesotho, they've taken out, when you register a company in Lesotho, they've taken out the use of the word agency for company. So for company, it doesn't apply anymore. So that's why now we couldn't call ourselves Goodly Heritage Recruitment Agency in Lesotho, but in Lesotho would be Goodly Heritage Recruitment Company. In Ireland, yeah, that's okay. You can call yourself whatever you want. If we said we are a recruitment agency here in Ireland, that has worked. So we are a recruitment agency here in Ireland. And you'll remember that our recruitment agency has been awarded a contract to recruit for Lesotho and recruit for Holmes Institute Dublin. Holmes Institute Dublin, that's where we got our job to do there. We're recruiting all over the world, but we are the Lesotho representatives. We are the Lesotho consultants recruiting Basotho people. But like I said, we wouldn't be discriminatory to anybody who doesn't come from Lesotho. No, we recruit everybody. Although in contractual terms now, I would be Lesotho consultant recruiting for Basotho, and I'm hoping that Basotho people can make it count that I come from Lesotho, and that my contract even says that Holmes Institute Dublin is the college that we bring to you, for you to take advantage of, for you to benefit from, and we will talk about that before the end of the show. So you guys, today, as you remember, I think in the previous show, there was I wouldn't have done a lot of literature, to be honest, but I did some literature in my high school, and I kind of like it. With literature, like I think maybe with any other, just like with any other, um, in literature, just like with any other, um, with any other, in literature, I think just with any other subject, it will matter the most who teaches it, who's your instructor if you're in college, who's your teacher if you are in high school and lower. Because I remember very vividly, I was taught literature by one of the teachers whom I respect very much. I can't even remember where he was from, but because he wasn't originally from Lesotho, and his name I think was Mr. Mkhize. I don't know, but it's a long time. You'll forgive me. He was teaching us literature, and he made me like two books that we read. I wouldn't have read the book by Shakespeare, to be honest. I'm just quoting him because I like reading, and I like referring to quotes that are meaningful and that are relevant to what I'm doing. So I wouldn't have read Shakespeare per se, but I'm aware of some of his quotes. And now he made us enjoy reading a book uh, that was based on apartheid South Africa called Crocodile Benny, and one of the main characters there was Seraki. And you should have heard him talk about Seraki, and he made you enjoy that whole lesson. Nobody would be sleepy, as in literature classes. That's where we normally sleep when there's this moment of boring book reading time. Otherwise, oh yeah, he also made me enjoy reading Tobias and the Angel. Yeah, Tobias and the Angel also was one of the books he made me enjoy reading. But then my favorite book that he made me enjoy the most was the book called the book called I Am David. And he would come to class, and today we are reading. And if last week we were reading, or maybe let me not say last week, maybe the previous lesson, because I can't remember how the intervals for lessons were per week like. And it would be like, so today we're going to be reading about our friend David. And says, our friend David, when he was leaving the concentration camp, there were issues. There were some of the items that he took, and we're going to find out what items he took. So he made such a beautiful introduction. And when he related to it, he was like connecting with it as he was reading. And our friend, and I still remember amazingly the names of the mother of, was it the father of David, Maria, the friend to David, Delevani, Delvaci, Delevani, Delvaci. Delvacchi. Yeah, Delevani Delvacchi Delvacchi. So this was the friend. I still remember this. I'm not reading this. I'm taking it from my heart, and this is some of the beautiful stories about the power of storytelling and how you are telling it, and how it will get assimilated, and how it will be allowed to go in through from the short term to medium and long term memory. And I know about the significant house that they had. I know when he was in Naples and when he was at the border, oh my God, it was a beautiful book to read. So I just got reminded of something I was struggling about in my previous episode, trying to refer to a quote by Shakespeare. I remembered it days after that. I was caught up saying, that which is and yet by is still. So that was me trying to be cocky about it, but I'd forgotten what the quote goes like by Shakespeare. So according to Shakespeare, he was arguing about the significance of a name, and then he was saying that which is a rose. He started by saying, what is in a name? He was asking that question. What is in a name? For that which is called a rose, yet by another name will still produce that sweet smell. So according to him, if you analyze that language there, you can argue that maybe the author there, Shakespeare, was trying to indicate that it is not important who or what the name is, rather than what is the make of that which the name represents. I don't know if I'm making sense. He was questioning what is in a name. For that which is called a rose, yet with another name will still produce that sweet smell. Like, does it matter what we call it? According to him, he was like, no, it doesn't matter what you call anything. What matters is what that will give us. I think that's what he meant by that. What is in the name? For that which is called a rose, yet with another name will still produce that sweet smell. Like, so we'll talk about the significance of of a name another time. So like I was trying to say to you at that time, that which is called Tarandanda, yet by another name would still Tarandandang, because I had forgotten the Tarandandans. So today I've remembered what all the Tarandandandas were according to Shakespeare. So you guys, I'm going to now go straight to the topic of today, which is we are addressing the question of, does marriage matter for society? And I don't know if we can confine this only to today's modern society, or we can just leave it as open as it is to say, does marriage matter for society, guys? What's your take? Maybe if I had Collins already, I would be opening some callings for a short while. Maybe let's just say, if you can drop your comments about your own question, your own views on the topic of, does marriage matter for society? I don't even want to say does marriage still matter. I know I wrote that on my episode description. for today to say we'll be trying to explain what does marriage still matter for society. No, 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 we're not going to include the still. We're going to leave it open. Does marriage matter for society, guys? So, you guys, when it comes to the concept of marriage, despite it being one of the most important agents of socialization, providing the opportunity for the significant others, according to the symbolic interactionism theoretical perspective of the family, as well as an institution that has hitherto endured the test of time for and in societies, there is no universal definition of the concept marriage. I don't know if there's anyone who can have a single definition that is self-inclusive of every society, every perspective, every view, every theoretical lens. No, there is no single definition of the concept of marriage. And there's the likes of people like Tokohiro 2010, people who subscribe to this idea, and they had to say that most societies hold the topic of marriage dearly and closely to their hearts. And further, they attest that there has been and continues to be lack of consensus on the definition and the universality thereof. And like I'm saying, to be honest, it would be very difficult to have just one definition that's cutting across. Yeah, of course, there will be such other topics where a single and universal definition exists. But marriage is defined, if you like, as a culturally approved relationship that legitimizes sexual and economic union, usually between a man and a woman. And I'm saying usually, with intention to be inclusive of other people who are not uh, heterosexual there, but who are homosexual, and that's still applicable to them. Although during the times people are writing, they are using what is usually, and I think this is one of the definitions that is very safe to have included usually there. And all national states or countries have their own definitions of what constitutes a legal marriage. And now this one will be a very important one, because marriage now will also be having to be defined legally, and it will include under what circumstances it can be lawfully be dissolved. And indeed, there may be as many definitions of marriage as there are cultures and legislatures, according to the Encyclopedia of Women, the Ruthless Encyclopedia of Women of 2000. And so, guys, in trying to answer this question of does marriage matter in society, we will be exploring the crude marriage, and then the attitudes on marriage, and then changes in the institution of marriage itself, as well as the marriage breakdown. And this is where, when we talk about the marriage breakdown, we'll then now eventually look at the implications of this marriage breakdown on children, and having a perspective of Ireland. And we'll be looking at marriage breakdown and some of the indicators of the value of marriage in society. And we'll conclude also by summarizing the discussions, as well as answering the question that we asked you in the beginning when you said, does marriage matter? What's your take, guys? Do you think marriage matters in society? Do you think so? So now we'll continue now to talk about crude marriage rate. And this is one of the indicators in determining whether marriage matters for society. And there, of course, there's no single one. There are various tools that can be used to measure in a scientific manner the value attached to marriage. You guys, the changes in forms thereof of marriage, and also the direction of changes that may be, if there are any changes. We were trying to look at what paradigm shift is taking place there, what direction is it heading to, like. and in order to come up with a testable position regarding the importance of marriage in societies. That's what is being used. Like I told you guys, I'm very relevant in this topics of family and marriage because I hold Master of Arts in Child, Youth, and Community, anyways. So now we're dealing with community issues. So crude marriage rates are some of those tools that are used, guys, to measure now in a scientific manner that's testable, of the position of people regarding the importance of marriage in their own societies. And according to United Nations 1991, you guys, uh, growth rate is defined as the number of marriages occurring among the population of a given geographical area during a given year. And this is per 1,000 mid-year total population of the given geographical area during the same year. So this is measurable, this is scientific, and according to the growth marriage rate of selected years from 1964 to 2019, and that was a good range there that's opening enough, big enough to be very generalizable and safely generalizable, because I think it has a very big sample there. This is as per the Eurostat of 2019. All the European countries experienced a drop in the marriage rate between 1964 and 2019. So that means this, according to the crude marriage rate of that period of 1964 and 2019, and it has shown a drop in the marriage rate, with the exception of a country called Cyprus, where the rate increased significantly. In 1964, it decreased from 8.9%. It decreased to 8.9% in 2019, making it a very visible outlier there. So, and for those of us who have done statistics, oh my God, I was lucky. Although sometimes you feel like it's a waste of time, the education system that we have in our National University of Lesotho, where we have a common first year where people learn everything before they could choose whatever they wanna, everything relevant. Let me say, not everything. So I would have studied statistics, and so all of the concepts I've just mentioned here now of an outlier, guys. That's something that is exceptional, and it's either too high or too low. It's an outlier. Yeah. So it's not like the rest. So Cyprus there was the only outlier having an increase in its growth marriage rate, and Cyprus, they must tell us what they did or what they're doing that made their marriage growth rate increase, like let alone just maintaining it. If now it increases, it means they're doing something right. Maybe if we can if we can get advice from them. So yeah, surprise. Yeah. Also, I must be able to be proud that Ireland is also included in the yeah. So even Ireland has experienced the drop, So, and Cyprus is the only outlier there. And based on these rates, therefore, it may be inferred that marriage in the European region matters less with passage of time, as indicated by the drop in crude marriage rates. So that's what we have just done to answer the question of whether marriage matters using the tool that's called crude marriage rate, guys. So we have seen that in most European countries, save for Cyprus, marriage has been the crude marriage rate has been dropping over the passage of time from 1964 to 2019. So what that means is that there is not that much value. The value for marriage has decreased. Don't think it's because of anything. Don't analyze this based on anybody you know. Don't analyze this based on anything you know about the host. Just analyze it the way it is that the marriage, the good marriage rates are dropping, and it means there is less value now in society of marriage. But of course, to be honest, I think it's only obvious, you guys, because you will remember that we have seen high numbers of cohabitation, and the higher the number of cohabitations, I think the lesser the translation of the relationships into marriages, because people are already enjoying each other like that as though they are married, and so there's no point. Why would you want to be married? We're still living together. Like, what do you want? Oh, I want to be married. Oh, I want to be married. What do you want? we're still we're still cohabiting anyways. So, guys, apart from the good rate marriage, now we'll be using attitudes on marriage among societies as one of the tools we can use to answer the question of, does marriage matter in society, guys? So, and one of the yardsticks that may be used, as I said, to determine the perceptions of societies among marriage is measuring the attitudes on marriage itself, So the research on the extent and degree to which participants believed in marriage indicated, interestingly, a contrary reflection from that indicated by the drop in the good marriage rates above, to the question of whether marriage shows commitment to the relationship more than does cohabiting. Only 22% responded in the negative, while 73% in the affirmative, with a further on 25% responding in the negative to the question of whether or not cohabiting was fine. Like I just inferred to cohabiting, because it's one of those factors affecting translations of a relationship from cohabiting now into marriage. But marriage was sealing the deal, while 68% responded in the affirmative to the question, guys, of to the question of whether marriage shows commitment to a relationship. People were asked, does marriage uh, play a function of or indicator of commitment to the relationship? So this is where we get this different percentages and responses, with only 22% responding to the negative of that, saying no, no, marriage does not show any commitment to the relationship. But 73% was answering in the affirmative to say yes. Of course, yes, marriage is an indicator of commitment to a relationship, and only 25% was responding in the negative to the question of whether or not cohabiting was fine. Because other people were saying no, cohabiting is not fine, but it was still not a significant, because it's like a quarter of it. But marriage was still sealing the deal, guys, as we are saying the 68% responded in the affirmative to say yes. Cohabiting, cohabiting, cohabiting does affect the the relationship. Cohabiting does affect the relationship in terms of it transitioning to marriage. And lastly, you guys, to the most direct and most relevant question of whether marriage was still a crucial part of society. There was also a very direct question asked: does uh, does marriage is marriage a crucial part of society? Only 20% of the people responded in the negative. This is amazing. The the good marriage rate shows a drop in the societies, but now when other research comes to explore the attitudes of people regarding marriage, listen, only 20% responded in the negative to say that marriage is not a crucial part of society. So it means 80%, 75% of the people responded in the affirmative that marriage was still a crucial part of society. So maybe there was another 5% with a different view that wasn't captured for the purpose of the study there. So you guys, you can see, guys, that there's something very interesting here. You look at the crude marriage rate. It's dropping in the societies all over Europe, save for in Cyprus. But when you just go to another tool of measuring the people's attitudes in society, among societies on marriage, you get a different something where people still value marriage. Even though there is a drop of it, they still value marriage, and they consider marriage to be speaking to a commitment to a relationship. Like, if you're talking marriage, you are more committed now to this relationship. Even myself, if I were to give my own opinion, to be honest, if you're committed to my relationship with you, then why don't you marry me? I remember, oh my God, oh my God, guys, I'm, you guys, I'm reminded, you guys, um, I'm reminded of a singing competition, you guys, and in this singing competition, there was a couple. It was in the US. So this couple, they come to the show, and so as you know, normally with this singing competitions, the judges there would like to make icebreakers, asking people who they are, and I think that's very good because they know how much anxiety can affect all of us when we first arrive at doing everything, anything. So they try to make you comfortable and they break the ice. So one of the questions would be, so tell us about your group. Who do you call yourself as a group? So it's a man and his wife, and they call themselves, we are the Beyonce. Oh my God. They call themselves the Beyonce, and they, they invited a huge pressure on themselves because now, if they call themselves the, I will remember, but they were going to sing one of the songs by JC and Beyonce. So, guys, it didn't come out as most people would anticipate because they didn't sing so nicely at all. And so now, these are some of the things that happen when you you try and bite more than you can chew. So these people sang there, and it, it wasn't amusing. It wasn't amusing. Oh, the Beyonces. Oh my God. I should find that video. I should find that video, and when I find it, I'm going to share it in the comments for you guys to see. No, I don't want to be judging, but I want to, at the same time, I want to show you guys. I want to show you guys how those people were performing. I'm not going to bring my opinion, but you must be able to see it for yourself. So, yeah. Now, guys, we're moving. So, I was still trying to explain the changes, to answer the question, does marriage matter in society? And so we've already seen according to the crude marriage rates, and we've already seen according to the attitudes about marriage. And now we will be well, moving closer to answering this question in full, you guys. Oh my God, we are not so close, anyways. We are not so close. Let me just hope. let me just hope that let me see how much time we have. Okay, we have covered already 35 minutes. Oh my God, time is flying. I don't think we'll be able to capture all that we wanted for today. So if we don't, please bear with us, and we will make sure to follow this through. We will follow it through. So, you guys, to answer the question of whether or not marriage matters in society, we had just been after we've just been after discussing the two measures, yes, that can be used to answer that question. And so we'll move further now into the changes in the institution of marriage itself. And there have been significant changes to the institution of marriage, as we can see in society over time, you guys. Although there is still value for marriage, as indicated by the question of attitudes, as you have seen, people are still holding marriage highly and esteeming marriage and valuing marriage, even though we had seen that there were drops in the good marriage rates there. And the new forms and legislative reforms also accommodating these changes together with the increasing values for human rights, and both through their promotion, protection, and advocacy, one would feel, you guys, that we have all contributed tremendously to the set changes in the marriage when you look at all of these mentioned sectors, from the strongest and high value for marriage to less strong and lower values, as indicated by different practices and attitudes, you guys. And on such attitudes that has changed, such indicated to the extent of whether or not marriage institution is still valued in society, we can say that these changes, yeah, do have some direction of indication there. And the study of attitudes to unmarried cohabitation in selected Western countries in USA, Britain, the Netherlands, and Germany, to the question of whether advice would be given to a young woman on cohabitation before marriage, with a median response of 41% in favor of cohabitation before marriage. So you see, now there are these changes where this is very interesting. In a study above that we shared, there were people were saying, no, cohabitation affects transition into marriage, because when you cohabit, you don't get likely to be married. But now here, you can see 41% only, about a few less than 50%. That's our median response, where people were in favor of cohabiting before marriage. And the mode was 43%, showing that there is a decline in the value of sex before marriage. So other societies are still holding on to celibacy before marriage, and they still want people to wait and have sex only once they are married. And I don't know what's your take, you guys. If we had to call in, I don't know what your take would be, whether or not people should wait until they are married before they have sex, which used to be valued very highly, in the past, as indicated by the high acceptability of cohabitation before marriage. Yeah, because cohabitation was widely accommodated. So now it's 43%. That's not too far from the 41% um, that accepted cohabitation before marriage. Now to the question of sex before marriage is 43%. So that still closes. So I think it's very dependable there to go by this. And in the same states to the question of marrying without cohabitation, three-quarters of the states responded in favor of living with a steady partner and then later marrying them. So they want to see cohabiting as a process towards getting married. And for me personally, to be honest, I subscribe to this, to be honest, because when you only meet, when you go out for a holiday, when you're booking out, people are able to give you a false display of who they really are. But when you live with them, they cannot hide that for a long time. To be honest, I'm subscribing to the affirmative of whether or not it's good to have a cohabitation before marriage. Yeah, I do. As compared to marrying without first cohabiting, with the exception of the US, where the percentage that favored marrying without first cohabiting surpassed the inverse thereof. This according to Scott, as he cited in Elliot 1996 in page 17, you guys. Yeah, so some of these things, they're very interesting. They're very, very interesting. Very interesting, guys. So marriage breakdown now and the reconstruction of marriage, you guys. These are some of the indicators that we're using, remember? So we're still trying to talk about answering the question of does marriage matter in society? And to try and answer that, we're using different yardsticks, and one of them is the marriage breakdown and the reconstruction of marriage, guys. And in most societies in ancient times, therefore, there was high value for staying married, and I think we'll agree. And marriage breakdowns was stigmatized as failures so much that even parents of partners in such marriages were not proud anymore of their children who got married and divorced. Oh my God, this is so true and so real. And even with us in Lesotho, where I originally come from, I think we still hold this. Like this has changed from the attitudinal to legislative reforms. You guys, it's not only a question of attitudes, but now changes in legislative reforms being supportive of dissolution of marriage and even replacement of the same by marriage. People divorcing and people remarrying, and there being legislative reforms to support this and improve it. And this view is held by Elliot, 1995, you guys, page 21, when highlighting the change, and knows that social scientists and commentators have now generally viewed and accepted the reconstruction of marriages as a progressive development, which banishes connotations of divorce and facilitates for the replacement of successful marriages by successful ones. So they are saying, guys, don't be having a negative outlook of uh, marriage breakdowns in the form of a divorce, because that's when people now remarry. It's just a successful replacement of a failed marriage. So you can see, you guys, how these things play out very nicely. And I want us as a society, Basotho, to start with as my people that gave birth to me. You guys, we must normalize divorce, because a divorce is like, now, as you can hear from Elliot here, it's it's giving you a chance to replace an unsuccessful. I like it for they say this laws um, are very progressive in terms of facilitating replacement of successful marriages by successful ones. If your marriage is unsuccessful, you just divorce, and then you replace that unsuccessful marriage with a successful one. This development of progressive development of the acceptability of marriage breakdown is clearly demonstrated by the Irish legislation, guys, in terms of reforms perspective. The shift from one end to the other, guys, of the continuum of the process of dissolution of marriage in Ireland is a significant one, from a prohibition of dissolution to a prohibition of remarriage by the same parties once they are divorced under the judicial separation. So the Irish constitution included a ban on the marriage breakup, stating no law shall be enacted providing for the dissolution of marriage. So it shows you the journey of progressiveness that was attained in terms of marriage laws legislatively here and reform wise. As we indicated, that in the past there used to be laws that were prohibiting marriage breakdown, as quoted by this law. No law shall be enacted providing for the dissolution of marriage. So this was according to Benrich and Hall, Article 41, subsection 3, 2. But in 1996, the divorce legislation came into effect as a result of a referendum, of course, a referendum where the prohibition had followed the Catholic um, traditions and values. But then many couples had still been separating in 1980s. Despite the process of that, the Catholic traditions, there were still a lot of separations in the 1980s, and the referendums like that of 1986 came out in favor of the introduction of divorce, you guys, and it had been failing, indicating the value that used to be upheld by the Irish society. So it means now the society also started to allow now for divorce, and they dropped from their high value of staying married to the extent that it was even prohibited to dissolve your marriage. But then you guys, you can see that that was the change that was taking place there. Then the closest concept in moving towards divorce was the Judicial Separation and Family Law Reform Act of 1989. So now they came up with from prohibition to now having an act supporting. You know what a move. What a move. The closest concept in moving towards divorce was Judicial Separation Law and Family Law Reform Act of 1989, which was implemented and was similar to the divorce laws in other countries now, but with no option to remarry. So when it started, they introduced and allowed dissolution of marriage and divorce, but there was no option to marry, you guys. This is very interesting. And a limited form of backdoor divorce. Oh, backdoor divorce. What a way to put it, Bali. Bali and Reagan 2002, they on page 205, they're saying this. They're saying there was a limited form of backdoor divorce. These initiatives then became the fundamental ones in paving way for the referendum that won, although it was by a slightest margin, to be honest, that resulted in the Divorce Act of 1996. So now in Ireland, we have a Divorce Act. That of 1996, we have a Divorce Act, you guys. We do have a Divorce Act, you guys. And this Divorce Act, you guys, is that of 19. Yeah, the Divorce Act is that of 1996. And all these legislative developments indicate the direction the Irish society is taking, you guys, of emphasizing marital bliss, if one may say, more than a commitment to marriage. That so it was emphasizing marital bliss more than commitment to marriage that may be unfulfilling to the parties, or at least one of them. So then that's why they came up with the Divorce Act. Then it seems marriage matters less than it used to in the Irish society. From the sequence of the above mentioned changes in the legislative reform that has now yielded a legal framework that allows for marriage breakdown and remarriage, guys. So lastly, in Ireland, the 2016 census revealed the following findings on the issue of marriage, you guys, which continues to reflect and answer the question whether or not marriage still matters in the Irish society. There were about 222,073 separated and divorced people, and this has had increased from 8.9% since 2011, you guys. So it had increased from 2011 to 2016. So over 50 years of age, an increase of 29,224. So this is since 2011, you guys. There were 87,704 separated and divorced persons living in households with children, which was an increase of 5.1%. And this was in 2011, starting from 2011 to 2016, with a peak age of separated or divorced persons being 53 years. So there were people who were divorced and separated at 53 years. in 2011. So the number of divorce applications in 2020 rose by nearly a third following legislation that cut in half the time required to be separated. So in Ireland, the separation, will be a legislative requirement. So it's also regulated how you separate, and so it's not an option, like, because I know in Lesotho it's not like it's part of the process. People can divorce while still living in the same room, in the same house, if they were living in one room, and if they are able to tolerate each other that well, they can still divorce without separating. But here it has to be a process of separation. Is it's part of the divorce process. So you guys, 20 to 30% increase in separation and divorce cases due to COVID-19 reactions. So COVID didn't only affect negatively countries in terms of economics, but even in terms of relationships, as you can see, COVID-19 broke 20 to 30% of marriages, and it contributed to that, homeschooling and childcare as well, speeding up the process that was probably inevitable. So, lastly, you guys, in most societies show that marriage still matters, but less than it used to. So I think obviously that's what we have witnessed in discussing this. And this is the adoption of the reformist legal and constitutional amendments regarding the breakdown or dissolution of marriage, you guys, in view of simplifying the process. So those are also some of the indications that there is a drop of value if it goes to the extent of making legislations to make it a lot easier to divorce. This includes reviewing the grounds for divorce, mainly in India. For instance, the Law Commission, in one of its reports, the 1971st, recommended the adoption of irretrievable breakdown of marriage as a ground for divorce. So it's happening, I think, in most states. I don't know if in Lesotho this is the case, but I think, I don't know, I don't want to say, but maybe those who know will help us. This was on top of the requirement for breakdown as a result of adultery. It used to be like that, even in Lesotho, cruelty and desertion. I don't know about cruelty in Lesotho, but desertion, yes. And on the same footing, now the commission, in its own words, says there is no inherent contradiction in having both the new and the old grounds. So, and furthermore, it is of the opinion that since there's currently the requirement of fault proving and the fault notion allowing more proof of uh, irretrievability is improper, as it would render the process of stringent requirements up. This leads to the next issue regarding to the appreciation of the importance of marital bliss or satisfaction as a basis for staying married, you guys. So we can see this move from societies trying to support, even including new grounds for divorce, like as we've seen in India, and where the commission was introducing, and they were even saying there is no inherent contradiction in having both the new and the old crowns. So now they kept their old crowns, but added the new one. The one of irretrievable breakdown of marriage. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm liking this one from India, where they have a grounds on the basis of cruelty. To be honest, a lot of cruel things are happening in marriages and in intimate partner relationships, and I think I would love for Lesotho to also include cruelty. Cruelty. People are treating each other with such cruelty in marriage. That should be a ground for divorce, guys. What do you think? So, guys, let me see how many minutes. Let me see how many minutes we have. Oh my God. Let me see how many minutes we have. You guys, let me see how many minutes we have. You guys. Oh no, we don't have no more time, guys. We don't have no more time. We've got only 5 minutes. Okay. Maybe let me see if in 2 minutes we can stop at this. I can see we won't have no time. We won't have no time. We won't have no time. Let me try to see what I can do, you guys. Let me try to see what I can do, you guys. So, you guys, there's also another another measuring yardstick that we can use, which is that of growing individualism as as an indicator of the direction marriage is taking in societies. Now there are several changes in societies, from a type of society to another. So much so that modern societies have seen a range of changes in the important institutions, including marriage. This view is supported by Hero 2010, who had it to say that economists, anthropologists, and sociologists have had challenging views to marriage as an institution in the long run. And one significant point of departure in these debates is the growing individualism, where partners in marriage each seek to make the best of individual satisfaction from the union, unlike the team spirit that used to exist. I like this. Oh my God. Listen how I nicely put that. Unlike the team spirit that used to exist, if one may look at it like that, the increasing number of divorces and extramarital births and cohabiting seeming to have started substituting marriage, you guys, or maybe at least directly influencing the timing for choices of getting married, as more single people in modern society tend to postpone marriage now and or end up in lifetime singlehood, mostly in industrial societies, you guys. So you see, guys, that things are changing, and I just want to rush through now. And so, guys, I just want to conclude this question. Just want to conclude this question, you guys. I'm gonna take a sip of my drink here, you guys. I just, I didn't realize we don't have time. We've got less than 2 minutes remaining. So, guys, no. Uh, so, guys, we're concluding this, and now, having talked about the above, it can be concluded, you guys, that with every confidence, it can be concluded that there is still some value upheld in certain parts of the marriage, but no more in the majority of them, such as in marital infidelity or extramarital sex still being valued among the married couples. But in the other areas, such as the value for staying married, is there. These are some of the grounds for divorce and the background of marriage, such as adultery, cruelty, faulty proving, and lately, as a result of legislative reforms in many societies, irretrievable repair to marriage, and following also the growth of individualism over familialism, which kind of indicates that to a larger extent, the institution of marriage does not matter that much, as indicated by the declines in crude marriage rates as well. And you guys, therefore, it means everyone in society can now depend more on their own judgment more than over that of a group in the form of the family they are members too, thus possibly yielding even a wider acceptance of variation in sexual orientations and forms of marriage, like same sex marriages and homogeneity of gender in child rearing and parenting. So, you guys, this is happening, mostly as a result of modernization and industrialization, as the European and Western regions have been exemplary in this kind of new changes to the institution of marriage, sex, and cohabitation. So, you guys, cohabitation and singleness have been underlying the postponement of getting married. So, by youth, especially with career pursuit, explanations, while at the same time, many children are being born out of wedlock, which further changes the credibility or the value of marriage among various societies across the globe. It is on the basis of the discussions of what we've talked about above that it is concluded that marriage still matters in many societies, but to a lesser extent comparatively to the ancient times. What a way to conclude, you guys. So, guys, today, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to. So, unfortunately, today, you guys, I'm not going to be able to talk about anything other than what we were discussing today. And please let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of the discussion. Let me know what you think of the discussion, you guys. So, you guys, let me just quickly try to run through. I'm not going to be able to touch on the theories we use. I'll talk about that in the subsequent edition, and for it to be relevant, I'll make sure that it's not going to be too long before I do that, so that I can talk about the theories for analyzing marriage, and then we'll be talking about the implications of divorce in the Irish society for children, how it affects children. But now I can just quickly run through what we are doing for recruitment. You guys, as you remember, our recruitment agency, namely Goodly Heritage Recruitment Agency or recruitment company, is still recruiting Basotho to come and work in Ireland and study in Ireland. At the moment, we have a contract to recruit for the study of people from all over the world, but especially we are engaged to recruit Basotho people to come and study at Holmes Institute Dublin, guys. So HID.ie, that's the website, HID.ie, Holmes Institute Dublin.id. So HID.id is the website, so you can go there. Look for 3 modules: Bachelor of Arts in Business, and that's when you don't have any other thing to qualify, but you have a degree in anything, or you don't have a degree, but you have a straight high school pass with good passes there. So also we have an advanced entry into an honors. So even the Bachelor of Arts is exiting at level NQF level 8, you guys. So you like hold master honors at the end of it, of your 3-year program there. So you can also get admitted at stage 3 of entry or mature entry if you hold a degree in business. So you can just enter at our stage 3, which is 3rd year of our honors, and do your honors in only 1 year, you guys. So obviously you'll be exiting with your NQF level 8. So if you are a holder of a business degree from National University of Lesotho, or from Boto University, or from Limco Queen University of Creative Technology, I'll mention those that I know that they do have degrees, you guys. So you'll forgive me if I didn't mention your university. So you guys, you qualify to enter at our stage 3, which is only one year program of honors. So you apply for what we call RPL, which is the recognition of prior learning, you guys. And this is where, if you are successful, if we see a close similarity of whatever programs in business you did to our own, then we can exempt you from year 1 and year 2. Then that's when you enter at year 3, guys. So out of being a proud and a proud product of University of South Africa through RPL, so I know exactly how it works, you guys. So that's how I did my honors in social work, from a Bachelor of Social Work 4-year program in Lesotho to a 1-year honors program, where I entered at my final year with the University of South Africa, you guys. So I'm registered to practice social work in South Africa. I'm registered to practice social work in Lesotho. I'm registered to practice social work. I'm registered with Corey in Ireland. So you guys, if you want to practice social work here in Ireland, wait for us to launch. As we launch, we'll be providing all the details, the websites, everything. We'll be providing with the rates that we're charging you to bring you over here. Bring yourself here, you guys. Bring you here, support you, bring here, and get paperwork and get you a job. Then you state any money in euros, you guys. So you guys, now this week, I want to celebrate. Yesterday, one of the, I have to mention this one. The very first person who applied when our company started doing the job to recruit for Holmes Institute, that student yesterday was starting the process of paying a full payment. I'm going to call that student T. T, we are proud of you. You were the first to apply. Of course, unfortunately, there are others who paid full fees before you, but I'm happy to see you pay full tuition fees after having been the very first person to apply once we made a call, So I'm super proud of you, T. So all the best with everything. And you know how we're going to support you, because we really want to change Lesotho one life at a time. We want to change Lesotho one life at a time. I'm still proud of Lesotho. Yeah, je suis Mozoto. Je m'appelle Retha-Billy, je viens du Lesotho et je suis Mozoto. Oh, je suis Mozoto, je viens du Lesotho, je parle Sesotho, nous sommes les Bazoto. Woo! Ah, that's French. That's French, guys. I just said I am Mosotho. I speak Sesotho. I come from Lesotho. We are Basotho as a people. Oh, so you guys now, I'm super happy for you, T. So continue doing all you need to do, so we can now start applying for your visa like everybody else. And remember, we're still celebrating that 17-year-old girl that we are bringing here, coming in February intake. 17 years. Where were you when you were 17 yourself? Were you coming to Europe at 17? Oh my God, I can't wait to receive that student from the Dublin International Airport. And then I can see myself with the placard for the Lesotho flag, with the placard for the Irish flag, and with the placard for Holmes Institute Dublin saying, welcome to the Kezo. My Kezo, welcome, Kezo. So you guys, I cannot be any happier, because it's good to contribute in changing lives, to be honest. So I still tried to share. If you want us to support you, please contact us through our mobile work phone as Goodly Heritage Recruitment Agency. Contact us at +353 87 282 9628, +353 87 282 9628, or you can email us at goodly.heritage.ie@gmail.com, goodly.heritage.ie@gmail.com. You guys, that's where you can drop us anything you want us to support you through, so you can bring yourself here. And then once you get here, we support you get employment through our recruitment agents. As you work as a student with the right to work in Ireland, we are not dealing with anybody who doesn't have no legal papers. No, we are a legally registered company, so we cannot associate with anything that's not legal. You guys, make sure you do everything according to the books of the laws of this country. Respect our country. Yeah. So you guys, I think, to be honest, I would have loved to have discussed more with you, but we have come to the end of today's show. We will have a follow-through show soon. And today, don't miss out, as I get to talk to an expert who is a good friend of mine who used to work for African Union. So later today, we'll be talking to her, and who knows, you might be inspired. So you might have an idea of the opportunities it took her to get to African Union as a big platform, that we have in the region. So you guys, it means now you can make yourself a good a good um, a good listener by maybe taking some popcorns and your drinks. If you want to drink your wine, if you want to drink your beer, if you want to drink your whatever you drink, even if you want to drink your umqombothi, if you want to drink your Sesotho beer, if you want to drink your Setswana beer, listen to us talking with Gloria, my good friend who was working at African Union, you guys. So you guys, this is none other than your boy Retha-Billy Lelisa, and so I wanna tell you how you can find us on you can find us on YouTube at Retha-Billy Lelisa 4664, at Retha-Billy Lelisa 4664. You guys, that's the handle that you can use to search for our channel. Please click and follow and subscribe so that you can get an update of every episode that we have. Of course, you can listen at your own time. For instance, if you are driving from Galway to Dublin, if you are driving from Dublin to Cork, if you are traveling from Cork to Longford, if you are traveling from Cork to Sligo, if you are traveling from Sligo to Donegal, if you are traveling from Donegal to Mayo, if you're traveling from Mayo back to Galway, if you're traveling. So you guys, you have material to listen to, something that can add value into your life. Yes, you can listen to music. When you are bored of the music, now listen to our podcast. So you guys, you can also follow our podcast on you can also follow our podcast, you guys, on Podbean. We also have a podcast on Podbean, you guys, so you can also follow us there and get a hold of us. The name of the podcast is called Truth and Nothing But the Truth, with me, Retha-Billy Lelisa, aka Retha-Billy. As I check out, you guys, wish you all the best. Wish you a productive week, as productive as my own. Yeah. See you another time. See you today. We're going to be in discussions with Gloria today. So you guys don't miss out on our next one. Thank you. I love you. Bye bye, guys. I love you, guys. I love you all. I love you all. I love you, guys. I love you. Love you guys.